Whoa, 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 whoa. Did anybody ever ask Siri on your iPhone? Because I'm an iPhone user. I have an iPhone 12. You know what I'm saying? I don't care what y'all got. Y'all got a 13, 14, 15, no matter. I'm sitting here, you know, through all this, what's going on in the world. I'm processing, you know, things and discovering things, figuring things out, studying and doing my research. Did anybody ever get their iPhone and think to ask Siri what the population, or if you have an Alexa, what the population, or what is the population on another planet? I did. This will happen.
Here's what I found from fandom.com. Mars is the 4th planet from Sol, and the 2nd smallest planet in the Sol system. It has a population of 10 billion humans, and is governed by the Martian Congressional Republic.
What's up? Guess what? Y'all changed y'all DNA, because y'all eating what? Skittles. The company Mars is being sued because they have titanium dioxide in their Skittles and it's changing your DNA. Check out this article if you don't believe me. Y'all need to stop eating fake candy and start eating nature's candy. That's right, you heard it from the kid. Check out this article.
Endless hole. This is property that had this hole. And for years, people were just dumping trash, dumping all sorts of items into this hole. And then they started to notice this hole was never ending. Throwing fridges in it, a lot of stuff in there, right? So one day he decides, I'm gonna see how deep this hole really is, because I never hear anything hit the, because usually when you throw something down, you can kind of hear the bottom, especially if it's a fridge, right? So he's like, I'm gonna throw something down and I'm gonna see what happens. And he gets a wire and he attaches a metal thing to the end of the wire, right? So the metal thing is going into the hole. 80,000 feet, still doesn't reach the bottom. He's using wire after wire after wire. It was reported, supposedly during that time frame, somebody threw their dog into the hole, and then the next day, they seen their dog across the street alive. Not the only thing. I guess the government took the hole away from Mills. Like, they took the entire property and said that they had to have it, and they kind of just paid him out. They didn't give really a reasoning why. And then I guess a bunch of people within the town were seeing beams just coming from the hole. And I guess if you brought like a radio to the hole on a staticky station, you would start to hear music back from like 30, 40 years ago.
Dang, I want to hop in that.
Apparently, no one will give the precise location of where the hole is at ever since the government bought this hole.
All right, real quick, I wasn't sure if you guys were aware of this, not to piss anybody off, but the famous brand Ball mason jars for canning now says they're only good for 18 months. They changed their lids. All of them. Makes you wonder.
So in light of the food shortage and potential end of the world that everybody's been waiting on, I had no idea that they had underground food storage buildings. So apparently this one isn't a secret. It's in Missouri. So that's a good location to know about whenever people are going to have to start looking for food. This is what it looks like. Apparently there's a whole bunch of shit in there, as you can see in that article. But then in addition to that, the government has its own warehouses. They say there are at least 6 of them. This one in particular has about $7 billion worth of product. They won't say what it is, but...
Hey, TikTok. What's up, guys? I want to talk about giants and the fact that giant skeletal remains have been being unearthed for hundreds of years. We know that ancient civilizations such as Egypt depict giants and living amongst them. The Bible talks about the Nephilim as early as the Tartaria. If you looked into Tartaria, they have giants living amongst them as late as the 1800s. And I just find it odd. It makes me wonder, you know, were dinosaurs invented to cover this up? You know, and if so, why? You know, you guys let me know what you think in the comments and check out some of the information I found.
So I've got a new conspiracy theory for you. Let me know what you think. So I was going to make a video about how a lot of songs in Hollywood talk about space being in the ocean. And I came across this song. I'm sure you've heard it before.
What you know about rolling down in the deep? When your brain goes numb, you can call that mental freeze.
So the guy that sings this song, his name is Masked Wolf. You guys, I guarantee you probably heard the song. Real popular. A lot of people on TikTok use it. But anyway, as I was researching this song, I found out that this song is actually a redo of a song that Mozart did. Then I found out that Mozart's real name is Wolfgang. So I found it really interesting. Wolfgang, and then the guy that sings Astronaut in the Ocean Now is Masked Wolf. I think they kind of do these things on purpose. But anyway, you've probably seen videos here on TikTok where people show current celebrities and then they show somebody in history where they're identical. You guys are aware of cloning. You guys are aware of all that kind of stuff. I find it really interesting that their names are similar. He did a song that Mozart did. And if you look at a picture of both of them, pay attention to the nose, the eyes. Now take a look at the singer that does it now.
I bet you don't know what this is. I'm going to show you something which is going to blow your mind. It's a camera, but not just any old camera. It's one of 700 million that are dotted all over China as part of their mass surveillance program. There's literally one camera for every 2 people in China, and they cover 100% of the whole country. Every single person, whether it be Chinese nationals or foreigners, can be identified using these cameras through facial recognition or something called gait, which uses your body movements to identify you. Insane. And it's all linked to China's social credit system. So that means when the camera catches you not wearing a mask or crossing the road without waiting for the green go light, you lose social credit points. And that can mean higher mortgage rates, higher taxes, slower internet speeds, more expensive public transport. The list goes on. So next time you're in China and you're thinking about being a naughty boy or girl, think again, because woke. You are being watched and you will be caught.
You're not really gonna sit here and look me in the eye and claim that these people went to the moon. A dusty rock reflecting light? Absolutely not. We're seeing stars through the moon when it's crescent, and we also see the blue sky through it almost every single day unless it's full. Like, seriously, just look at this picture. Look, a star, and also you're seeing the blue sky through this moon. That tells you that it's not a physical dusty rock reflecting the sun's light. Did you know that if you were to magnify the moon's light into a single point like you would to use the sun's light to start a fire or something with a magnifying glass, if you do the same thing with the moon's light, it'll literally be cold. That's just one tell-all to tell you that it's not reflecting the sun's light, you crazy psychopath. These people are not going to space. When they're simulating zero-G, they're doing parabolic moves. Yeah, literally NASA and Boeing have been perfecting it for they've had a couple decades on us. So we got to do some catching up with disproving them. But here's Buzz Aldrin in a plane, faking space, faking that he's in zero-G. Yeah, if you haven't looked at this close up, you're probably, working too much for the system, being enslaved, thinking you're free. The United States isn't the land of the free, it's the land of the Freemasons. Gosh, stop watching this witchcraft right now. Turn this shit off. Don't turn this on ever again. The news, north, east, west, south, this is literally witchcraft. Please, don't allow this into your retina. I think it's just normal that we have no footage from this supposed greatest accomplishment of mankind. We have no footage of this one or this one. Come on. No videos or pictures of the ISS being constructed. Are you joking? You're just gonna look past this? You're not gonna... You can literally screenshot this, zoom in, see the foil, the tape, and the curtain rods that they used to build this thing. Again, did not travel 24,000 miles per hour through a space vacuum 240,000 miles to the moon. Highly doubt it, man. Have you not seen their pools that they're jumping in? Have you not seen... Here, let me show you some articles that might suggest that they might be in pools filming all of this. Really? Their suits keep filling up with water. Come on, buddy. They're not only just testing, they're filming in this. They're just to tell you. Why would they be practicing in a pool for the space vacuum that's negative 400 degrees, supposedly? It makes absolutely no sense. They're not training in the pools. They're filming in the pools. It's just like the fluoride in the water. They're not treating the water. They're treating us. If you want to be an astronaut, you just need these 3 things. A bachelor's degree in scuba diving, a 33rd degree Freemasonry rank, and the ability to lie and be able to sleep at night. Have a good day.
And that they exist, in fact, on every continent, brushed off as mountains, hills, empty tombs, or even piles of rocks, because they're so much older than we've realized. And also, of course, because we still can't figure out why any civilization would go through all the trouble of building these enormous structures of unimaginable weight for no practical reason, unless the reason's yet to be revealed. In other words, we don't know what we don't know. So before we share the facts about the Bosnian Pyramid, the BPS, consider this first. If we knew that pyramids held a practical function, and if we were open to the possibility that civilization's history on Earth goes back much further than we've acknowledged, would we notice the similarities of these pyramid structures on every continent? Like the almost 2,000 pyramids in China that are over 12,000 years old? The 224 in Sudan? The 43 in Sicily? The 3 in Palencia, Spain, where there are pictures of reptilian-like beings, and where one, tragically, was recently destroyed? Would we see the 104 in the Canary Islands? Or those in East Africa? Or those in El Salvador and Honduras, including this one, where an interior temple reveals what appears to be Mayans and spaceships? Would we see Cambodia's? Would we notice the 100-meter high pyramids in Indonesia? And would we see that in the United States of America, the 200 mounds in southern Illinois have all the criteria of ancient pyramids? Or how about this mysterious one in Antarctica? And we mustn't forget those underwater, off the coast of Japan, and off the coast of Florida. So, as you can see, every continent has evidence of these structures, and yet we're still telling ourselves that primitive people built these for their dead, and built them in ways we can't figure out.
Why would they do this? Why are they trying to hide the fact that we are on an infinite plane or on a flat earth rather than a ball? Well, if you isolate people into the idea that they're on a blue marble that's in the middle of a universe that is really insignificant, and there's thousands of millions and billions of other worlds and possibly other civilizations, that makes most people think that we are insignificant and that we did actually come about as some sort of an accident. Now, when people believe that, their minds are much more malleable into being given the idea that there is no God, there is no creator, and because of that, that also gives the controllers this fertile soil to build other deceptions on. It's about total control, mental, physical, spiritual, every way, shape, form possible.
You have to remember how big of a conspiracy this is. This isn't talking about just the JFK thing, or isn't talking about just 9/11. It's on an umbrella kind of system to where it is the biggest deception that there is. It actually exposes every other deception, and nothing else brings down the power of the elite, because it really exposes education, science, the economy, television, museums, universities. Think of all the things that have been fooled. I feel worse for the people that are out there building satellites, the people that are out there actually working for these space agencies, the people out there teaching in schools as professors, because they would all come to the conclusion eventually, once this gets out, that they've all been contributing to the lie.
This is why you have to ask questions. The Earth spins at 1,000 miles per hour at the equator and travels around the Sun at 70,000 miles per hour. And the Sun travels through the galaxy at 450,000 miles per hour. That's 8 trillion miles the Sun has traveled since the year zero. Over a light year. And yet, for thousands of years, even before that, people were looking into the sky and seeing the same stars that we see today. And if they had the same optics that we have today, they'd be able to photograph perfect star trails, just like we can. I do not believe this is possible.
Have you guys seen this video? It's a pretty old one, but it's footage from the bottom of a Russian oil rig. So they caught some unexpected footage. Check it out. What was that? Okay, let's watch it again. Okay, so now that you've seen that, let's take into consideration that this was supposedly at a depth of around 6,300 feet. So the world record for the deepest free dive is actually 214 meters, which converts to 700 feet. So we know that couldn't have been a person down there. Also, the world's deepest scuba dive is 332 meters, which converts to around 1,089 feet. So even if someone was wearing some kind of fancy scuba diving mermaid costume of sorts, you still wouldn't be able to reach that depth. So one, we've got a creature that is at a depth that humans cannot possibly reach, even with equipment. And we've also got the fact that this thing speared something in the middle of the ocean in Russia at 6,300 feet. Like, what creature has the knowledge or the capability to understand how to spear a fish? Okay, I've also got another really creepy video that I need you to see. Check it out. Anyway, so those watermarks are really annoying. I know, I'm sorry. It makes the video quite difficult to see. So I've done my best to brighten things and the exposure so we can try to get a better look at it. Yes, oh my god. For a first-hand mermaid encounter, this is like undeniably an experience that this man had. Anyway, I want you to watch it for yourself and let me know what you think.
Because somebody told me not to mention mermaids. It's
Don't mention mermaids?
I saw a mermaid.
Really?
Yeah.
When?
In Seychelles, Africa.
You saw an actual mermaid?
Yeah, that's what it was. It was a swimming person.
Really?
Yeah. And
how long ago was this?
I don't know. That's Will Sylvans. It was
You think there's like a small population of mermaids that are out there?
But anyway, me and this little French boy, and they said don't swim in the lagoon after dark. Everybody's up at the bar, and so everybody's gonna go down. Everybody's kind of racing now. So me and him go down. Me and him get in the water. From a distance, you see something coming like a fucking missile.
Right.
It's coming fast, and we both kind of stop. And then it turns and it jumps out of the water. And it's maybe at least 10, 12 feet long, man. And it do like this, and it look at both of us and go, whoa. The water was only about this deep. Didn't make a splash or nothing. And then and me and him turn the fuck around. We running. Everybody's coming down there laughing, got their drinks in their hand. We're like, no, fuck that. And the little boy in French. And his mom is apologizing to me, saying he has a very vivid imagination. He said, no, bitch, listen. We saw a fish man, and it wasn't like a mermaid. Didn't look feminine at all.
Like a man.
A fucking man.
Really?
A fucking dude who said, "Get the fuck out the pool." Basically, he was like, do you know Aquaman?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So did it look like
go,
a
hey,
fish
get out
person?
the water.
Did it look like a fish person, or did it look like a human being?
Came out.
Did it have scales?
It was kind of dark.
Dark like a dolphin?
No. But he had, the back of him was fish. The back of him was fish. His head was humanoid. Eyes about so big. Then, if you Google it, the lagoons of Seychelles.
Okay.
And I ain't the first person to see some shit.
Really?
In them waters. And the guy who does the horseback riding, you know, you can ride horses. And he said, how old are you? And I told him, he said, you're from America, right? I'm like, yeah. He said, so at this age, pretty much if you see a turtle and I tell you that's not a turtle, you know it's a turtle. You're the age, you know what you saw. Right. He says, people pay a lot of money at this resort. He says, yeah, it's maybe not a good idea to go around going, I saw a mermaid. And he goes, he's saying how long his family has been fishing in these waters. He says, and he's heard some things. He says, I've heard some things like what you say. He said, I've never seen what you say you saw, but it's not the first time I heard.
You probably thought that the discovery of a tomb is a rare event. Well, no. The reason why we don't have any tombs is because in the 16th and 1700s, the Europeans was consuming mummies at a massive rate. They were used for medicine, they were crushed up, and they were also used for paintings, like this one right here, and the color was Egyptian brown. Now, mummies was used, crushed up, to make paintings like this into the 1960s. Mummies were also used and destroyed for mummy parties. So this went on during the Victorian period, okay? So these unwrapping parties was just like an Avon party or a Mary Kay party, where they would take the mummy and they would literally have a party unwrapping them. Now, consuming a mummy was thought to heal everything from headaches, epilepsy. Even King Charles II had king drops, is what he called it. This was a drink that contained human skull with alcohol. So you got to understand, in the 16th and 1700s, you can go to your local CVS at that time and get your Egyptian kemet bits over the counter. Understand, we lost a lot of mummies during that time. A lot. That's a span over 1,000 years. Now, the only reason why we have famous mummies preserved like King Tut, it was very carefully hidden away in secret tombs. Now, this is a part of African history that we'll never get back. So just know that the main reason why we don't have any major tomb discoveries in ancient Kemet, present-day Egypt, is because during the 16th and 1700s, they were consumed by the Europeans.
Black people are Native Americans. You know, we've had, you know, a lot of proof that, you know, some of us started here in this land. Everybody wasn't brought over from Africa.
I'm going to respond in a very peaceful way. There are a lot of my people and white people making videos saying that I'm incorrect on what I'm saying. Most of everybody believes that all nappy-headed people, black people, we all just came from Africa. That's the only place we were. There is an Egyptian temple in the Grand Canyon, which is in America, right? No one is discrediting the African heritage that some of us have. But we're not going to ignore that some of us walking around with my skin tone and who are labeled as African Americans are not descendants of natives. I'm brainwashed. I'm being disrespectful. I'm this, I'm that. We're all just descended from slaves. If you want to stay in that mindset, you can, but I'm digging. For the people who don't know who they are. You can go and research the $5 Indian yourself, since what I'm saying is a problem. I'm not telling anybody to believe anything I'm saying. I'm saying do your research. Let me know what you find. No one is discrediting any of the straight-haired Native Americans. I clearly said it's where they could have came from. You don't read much, do you? Spreading misinformation for why? What is the obsession with rewriting history? Rewriting history? Are you serious? Because a lot of things that they told my people, which was saying that we was only slaves and we didn't come from nothing. They didn't teach us about the Egyptians. They didn't teach us about anything that gave us any status of intelligence. Am I really just misinformed? Almost everything I said in the video was false. People just making things up at this point. Only straight-haired Native Americans can be validated as indigenous, right? Okay. In the video, I clearly said what if on the situation between black people, white people, and straight-haired Native Americans. If you want to believe that every black person is from Africa, you can. Unfollow me if you have an issue with anything that I say. Because I do have a right to question things.